The acceleration of technological evolution in photovoltaics. A double-edged sword. Two interconnected issues face the photovoltaic (PV) sector. The need to end the unsustainable price wars between manufacturers, which undermines medium to long-term sustainability, and the need for better risk management in response to rapid technological advances that could impact product quality. Since its market debut 30 to 40 years ago with isolated applications in remote areas, PV technology has been characterized by steady, incremental innovation. However, in recent years, this evolution has accelerated into a true revolution, with more rapid technology cycles and the introduction of different types of solar cells and modules. This acceleration, while promising, is a double-edged sword. On the one hand, technological advancement in PV has traditionally been driven by goals to increase generation efficiency and reduce module costs. Prices have dropped by over 99% since the 1970s, reaching levels that often no longer cover production costs, while efficiency has more than doubled since the 1980s. On the other hand, the current problem with such rapid technological change is that we're changing so many things simultaneously, said Alessandro Virtuani, a photovoltaic module reliability expert at CSM and the École Polytechnique Fédérale de Lausanne, EPFL, and co-founder of Oficina del Sol, a startup focused on services, research, and training. When you change more than one parameter at a time, it becomes very difficult to understand and predict how a solution will behave in the long term. This brings up issues of module reliability and durability, which could negatively impact business plans, Virtuani added. Want to stay updated on the latest in solar tech? Subscribe to erevolutionhub for weekly insights. Concerns over production cost cutting, PV component quality, and the reliability of laboratory testing are becoming increasingly pressing. As we discussed in a previous article, the quality of PV modules has a price. The two sides of technological acceleration. The contrasting aspects of the ongoing technological acceleration are well illustrated by the annual scorecards assigned to PV modules from major global manufacturers by PHOTOVOLTAIC, a company specializing in reliability testing. They subject modules to tests that are more extensive and demanding than those specified by generally accepted standards. The company's 2024 scorecard shows a mixed trend compared to previous editions. On a positive note, the number of manufacturers earning the title of top performer has reached an all-time high, with 20 companies achieving this status for the first time. However, while the number of top performers has grown, it remains a relatively small percentage, and the number of failures has also increased. A record 66% of module manufacturers recorded at least one test failure, the highest rate ever observed. The failure rate also rose at the level of the bill of materials, BOM, the recipe used to create a finished product, including components, assemblies, intermediate assemblies, documentation, and other materials needed to create a product. Achieving top performer status across all tests is extremely rare. Less than 6% of the models listed as top performer reach this status in all reliability tests, PHOTOVOLTAIC indicated in its analysis. In particular, PHOTOVOLTAIC observed increased problems with junction boxes, power loss, and a growing number of modules showing delamination and insulation defects. The rate of failure associated with damp heat, DH, for example, doubled compared to last year, with 15 manufacturers recording at least one failure during testing. Meanwhile, 11% of the bills of materials showed one or more failures during thermal cycling, TC tests, with manufacturers reporting significant issues with junction boxes, such as short-circuited bypass diodes, exposed wires, and melted connectors. 6 BOMs also showed power degradation significantly exceeding the levels predicted by manufacturers. The case of TOPCon modules. The TOPCon, tunnel oxide passivated contact technology, which is gradually replacing the older PRC, passivated emitter and rear contact, as the most common technology in new PV module production, has some issues, according to Virtuani. We are now beginning to understand some of these issues, and they are being resolved, but there is no historical field data on this technology, he added. For example, Kiwa PVel's thermal cycle test showed that the median degradation rate for PureC and TOPCon was 0.6% and 0.7%, respectively. But the number of failures due to power degradation was higher for TOPCon modules, with 5 bombs for TOPCon failing compared to only 1 for PureC. Moreover, the low light performance of PureC improved slightly from -3.6% in BOMs produced in 2022 to -3.4% for those produced in 2023. Meanwhile, TOPCon's low light performance declined from a median of -3.5% in 2022 BOMs to -4.3% in 2023 BOMs, reported the California-based company, PV Technology, potential risks of the rapid switch from PureC to TOPCon. What is changing in PV modules? Until recently, PV purchasing managers had the impression that modules were basically a commodity, akin to milk, where it didn't matter whether they purchased from manufacturer A or B. In reality, PV modules have never been just a commodity, and even less so today, said Virtuani. So, what is changing so drastically in photovoltaic modules? Everything is changing, he explained. Previously, modules had a classic structure with glass on the front and a backsheet on the back, but now there are bifacial cells, often in a glass-glass configuration. Modules are heavier, so 2 mm glass, instead of the usual 3.2 mm, is now being used. However, this thinner glass can't be tempered because it would be too expensive, making these modules less resilient. Additionally, cells are becoming thinner and therefore more fragile. The module dimensions are also increasing, with larger modules and thinner cells and glass, meaning they are more prone to breaking. In some cases, glass-glass modules even seem to crack spontaneously, he added. This risk was also highlighted in the 2024 scorecard. Although glass-glass modules have repeatedly been shown to provide better protection for cells, Kiwa PVel has received numerous reports of glass-glass module failures in the field from various locations worldwide. Most of these failures did not occur during extreme weather events, making this a significant reliability concern, the testing company noted. Key challenges with encapsulation materials. Another delicate element of PV modules is the encapsulant, typically consisting of EVA, ethylene vinyl acetate. Significant yellowing of the backsheet has been observed, noted Kiwa PVel. However, encapsulant issues have also arisen in glass-glass modules, where other materials, known as polyolefins, are increasingly used for encapsulation. These materials are more expensive and have less historical performance data compared to EVA, which has more standardized formulations. Polyolefins, in contrast, are a broad class of materials, meaning they can vary widely in characteristics. There is no formulated standardization. Very little is known about these materials, and they are sometimes discussed in problematic terms, as they may exhibit reduced adhesion over time. The production process is also more complicated and challenging. In essence, we are changing the encapsulant, a crucial element for long-term performance, Virtuani explained. We believe that these combined changes could result in unexpected problems. We spent 30 to 40 years building a strong reputation for PV technology, and in the next 5 years, we risk undermining it, added the reliability expert. Failures and extended testing. The PV sector faces 2 key issues: ending unsustainable price wars between manufacturers, which undermine medium to long-term sustainability, and improving risk management in response to the now frenetic pace of technological evolution. The PV manufacturing industry has been plagued by massive overcapacity, leading to a complete collapse in component prices, particularly for modules. These low prices are likely to persist into 2024, threatening the profitability of the entire PV manufacturing sector, not only in China, but also in other countries and regions, where local job creation and technology development projects have been put at risk, reported the International Energy Agency, IEA, in its latest PVPS 2024 report on the latest trends in PV applications. The imbalance between supply and demand has placed enormous pressure on the PV manufacturing sector and will likely lead to industry consolidation and possible bankruptcies, the IEA added. Overcapacity and the ensuing price collapse may thus have a Darwinian solution, with less efficient operators exiting the market or being absorbed by stronger companies, provided the Chinese government does not extend their viability with subsidies. In addressing the issue of rapid technological development, part of the solution lies in the extended testing conducted by companies like Kiwa PVL. Their tests subject modules and components to criteria more rigorous than industry standards, testing for mechanical loads, damp heat, and hail resistance. Developing new tests for emerging technologies should also become a priority. Extended testing should become the norm when comparing large volumes of modules to avoid nasty surprises that could disrupt business plans and jeopardize our much-needed energy transition, Virtuani argued. However, even extended tests are not necessarily reliable indicators of 20 or 30-year reliability. Only time and field experience will truly validate the longevity of these new technologies. The ongoing reduction in costs and physical characteristics of components, which remain exposed to diverse weather events, is not a sustainable approach to achieving long-term quality. Looking to make informed solar investment decisions? Reach out to erevolutionhub today for expert advice.